Long time no see. If you've been wondering what I'm up to, it's been helping people build about 15 games in parallel. Let's review what some of those have been at the time of this video in HomeTeam GameDev. This is Kensei, a game based in historical Japan where it's a samurai era, and a lot of the different narrative you're navigating has to do with the costumes your player wears and the items in your inventory. So here, while the development team is working on it, they put a bunch of characters in one place to sort out how those interplay, and then we'll redistribute those characters where they belong in the environment. Here's In a Far Ship Darkly. It's a little more ambitious and abstract. It's got some really impressive lighting, some really cool features implemented like inverse kinematics and stuff, but it's a alien setting with a robot drone flying around in it, and it's a very unusual control scheme, but it's got a lot of really interesting things going on. Here's Daggers Gate. Now, often RPGs can seem like an enormous project to take on for people who are mostly doing it in a few hours here and there, because most of our members have full-time jobs, full-time classes, in some cases raising families. But this is a lead who's led multiple RPGs successfully in our group, along with several other very talented team members collaborating, and it's coming out great. Here's Rocket Cat, a game with a ton of variety, just dozens of levels in it, big boss fights, but there's a lot of rocket jumping, a lot of navigation, a lot of different types of enemies in it. This is Late for School, where you're a student in Japan trying to race to get to class on time, sliding under buses, climbing up buildings, bouncing off of flagpoles. This is Flick Tactics, a game where it's kind of inspired by Advance Wars or Panzer General, and you can select between several different types of generals to lead these armies where you're constructing mechs and tanks and different kind of units to take out the opponent's buildings in a variety of levels. Here's Game Director, a simulation of running a game studio where you as the company owner are approached by different employees with different questions and prompts, and based on your decisions you'll either be under budget, over budget, keep morale where it's got to be, and try to keep the game going for a whole year for release. This is Flipperball. It's a pinball simulator, and it's being developed in a way so when members want to create their own custom table theme, they can reuse a lot of the same elements and physics and functionality and features of the tables that others have developed and reskin those to fit their themes. This is Deliver-Danang. It's recently released. It's a local multiplayer 1 to 4 player game where it's a little bit like Taxi Game, but you're a gig economy driver on a scooter delivering orders for people around the city. It's a great opportunity to work on a lot of optimization and custom systems, interplay between traffic and delivery systems and on-screen mobile interfaces and multiplayer controls and all kinds of new challenges people got to sort out together there. This is Revisited. It's inspired by a historical board game, arguably one of the first board games ever played, and it lets you play it on your computer so you can better get a sense for how people think this game might have worked. This one's Frog Vibes, has a lot of style, and it's a whole different development approach to try to improve the way that we develop rhythm games. This is Dragon Shard. It's another game where you're doing turn-based strategy, but in a hex grid, and it's got a whole set of kind of cavalry units, infantry units, some AI, and it's also got a custom level editor. This is Hard Glitch. Technically, it released a while ago, but the lead has still been following through on some post-release updates, continuing to polish it even further, and it's a really impressive roguelike. This is Jungle Adventure. Now, most games that HomeTeam works on are either in JavaScript for your HTML5 canvas or Unity C#, but in this case, we actually used Godot as kind of an experiment. Our first time was a short schedule. We had an experienced project lead behind the helm and made this randomly generated jungle environment, cutting down trees and cutting through bushes to find landmarks to find your way, to experiment how Godot fits into our processes. This is Vam Empire. It's the second project we're taking on that uses Godot, and it's much more ambitious. It's a longer schedule, and it's a whole space mining game with factions and all kinds of lore and different customizations. And even though it just started recently, it already has a ton of incredible work going on. So non-features here out of those 15 is we've also got several projects that are early in development working on pitching soon, maybe as soon as this weekend. One's kind of inspired by Missile Command. One's inspired by like a VR, sort of a duck hunt type game. Another is like based on another traditional board game, but in a very different style and different theme. Another is inspired by That Game Company title, so a little more emotional type of narrative experience. But one of the things we do is, of course, all of our projects are led by members, and we try to not promise to anybody what they're doing until they officially pitch and start it. So I won't say into the prototypes yet, even though all 4 of those are currently playable. So 2 things to keep in mind. 1, if you want to build games with us in HomeTeam GameDev with our supportive, encouraging community, our professional trainers, my support, our resources and approach, go to HomeTeamGameDev.com, read all about it there, go to the Apply section. You can apply today. And in fact, this is a great time to do it because this is the last quarter when you can apply to be a member at our current rate. The rate will be increasing next quarter unless you're already a member, unless you already applied this quarter. So the way it works is you keep your rate. So we have members who 4 or 5 years ago joined us at a lower rate. They're still paying the rate that they had then. So as long as you apply before the end of this quarter, before the end of Q2 2021, you can still get in at the current dues. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that I don't recommend joining the group just because you see a particular game and you're like, yes, I want to work on that one. The games will come and go. They change, right? We've released 110 games in the past 5 years. And out of the 15 that are here, a few of those recently released, a few of those just started, and they're split between different communities. So instead, I would encourage you to think about, what do you want to do that fits our approach? What game do you want to build that will help you build? Join HomeTeam GameDev for that, and we're happy to help you make it happen.